Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, author of gamblersadvisory.com's How to Bet on Boxing. And let's talk about how to bet on this week's fight between Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez. Before I do that, though, quickly, special kudos to the Concrete Jungle, spelled with a K, Rico Aguirre. He sent me a tape of the Danny Green BJ Flores fight that showed that Danny Green, quite frankly, had a drink that was not water during a break between the rounds. I believe it's right around the start of the fourth round. And the film looks worse than the Aaron Pryor, Panama Lewis, Alexis Arguello film. BJ Flores, his opponent, was unbeaten and was fighting for the IBO Cruiserweight title. I believe that the IBO owes it to fans to investigate what Danny Green had, especially since Green was having a very hard time with Flores' jab up until ingesting this mysterious substance. In fact, we know the substance wasn't water because Green actually asked for water after having the substance. For those of you interested in the video, go to YouTube and look up the Concrete Jungle. He has the video posted. Also on Facebook, there's a discussion of it right now that's ongoing, and it involves the Concrete Jungle on Facebook's boxing community page. I would advise anyone interested in what's happening in the cruiserweight division in Danny Green and BJ Flores to take a look at that discussion. Let's talk about Martinez. Let's talk about Williams. As people know, I believe Martinez is the more talented fighter. But I don't like the idea of Sergio Martinez being in his mid-30s and having problems with his weight, right? I know Lou DiBella, his promoter, is saying that Martinez always does this. Quite frankly, Lou DiBella's job is to promote fights and to make the most money possible for his fighters, right? His job is not to express panic at his fighters' weight. And there's cause for panic because Martinez, of course, in a fight contracted for 158, weighed in the 170s 30 days away from the fight. At the 7-day weigh-in, he weighed 166. He's in his mid-30s. He's going to have to spend the last 7 days losing 8 pounds. And it's of particular concern because, of course, he's facing one of the most high-volume fighters in the sport. Paul Williams will throw around 100 punches each round. Look at the numbers from his fight against Winky Wright. And Williams, of course, has been close to being at weight for the last 30 days. He's a great athlete, and you're looking at a situation where you have an older guy who has to spend time losing weight against a younger guy who already is known for great stamina. Martinez, too, one of his calling cards used to be great stamina, but it seems that, like many, he is now gaining weight between fights, which is a recipe for disaster. Now, let's talk about actual odds. I don't want to fool around with abstractions. According to a sports book I've come across, and I'm not going to give a plug to any sports book, the odds here are co-favorites, right? Martinez is a minus 115. Williams is a minus 115. So people know I like straddles. I believe in plan Bs. I have been saved many times by straddles. What a straddle is it's a plan B where if your most likely outcome does not happen, you want to make sure that you have some insurance on the bet, so the second most likely outcome gets you some, if not all, of your money back, right? You want to be the guy who leaves the casino with the money in your wallet. You don't want to do something high risk that leaves you naked where you're shaking your head talking about almost what ifs and you don't have the cash in your pocket, right? So in this fight, we're looking at co-favorites. How do we straddle this fight? And I believe the answer can be found. This is one play, and it's a value play. I'm not saying it happens, but I believe it should be part of your betting strategy. The answer can be found in the under 10.5 prop which is being offered at plus 200, right? Let's talk about that prop and how you should structure the bet. Now, rather than deal in minus 115s, and people who do math know that a minus 115 means that you bet 115 to win 100, right? And that a minus 115 means that you get 1 divided by 1.15 or 87% of your money back on that prop. Rather than deal with that, I'm going to simplify it by just saying, let's assume these two guys are both even money, right? Let's eliminate the VIG, and let's just assume, for purposes of what I'm going to say, that both guys are even money, plus 100, right? Just to simplify things for everyone. What I'm recommending you do is pick the fighter you believe is going to win this fight, and bet 65 of your 100. Let's say you're going to bet 100. Bet 65 of your 100 on that fighter, right? That's your main bet. Whether it's Williams, whether it's Martinez, bet 65 of your 100 on that fighter. The remaining 35, in other words, a little bit more than 1/3, let's say 35% of your pot, you want to bet that on the under 10.5 rounds at plus 200. And understand, an under 10.5 means that you win as long as the fight ends by the midway point of the 11th round. 10 full rounds plus half of the next round. Now let's think about this in terms of possible outcomes, right? There are 27 possible outcomes in a 12-round fight, right? Either guy can win in any of the 12 rounds, right? Either guy can win by decision, so that's 13 times 2, 26. And of course, there could be the dreaded draw, right? Making it 27 outcomes. When you are given a 10.5 under in a fight, you're literally getting 10.5 times 2, right? 21 of the 27 outcomes. In a fight like this that's so evenly matched that these guys are co-favorites, I believe that's pretty good value, especially when you're getting a plus 200. Keep in mind, your straddle position is just to ensure your main position, right? I know last week people made money off the straddle I suggested, the over 9.5 rounds. Here, what I'm saying is just try to break even on the straddle, right? The straddle is just a way to have a bet that allows you to bet more on the fighter you believe in. So, let's just put it into play off the numbers I gave, right? 65 on your main bet, 35 on the under 10.5 rounds. That means that, let's say I go to the casino and I bet on Sergio Martinez, the fighter I think personally is more talented, but who I question because of weight issues. Right? Let's say I bet on Sergio Martinez, and let's say Paul Williams goes out there, and I have 65 on Sergio, 35 on this, straddle play, this insurance play. Let's say Paul Williams goes out there, looks as good as he did in the rematch of the earlier fight he lost, the Carlos Quintana fight, and let's say he drops and stops Sergio Martinez early like he did Carlos Quintana. Understand, with this straddle, I lose the 65 off my main bet, but I actually win 35 times 2. I win 70 off the straddle. So I'd be one of those guys shaking my head saying, wow, I can't believe I was dead wrong on this fight, but I would be leaving the casino with a $5 profit. So that's the straddle I'm recommending, the under 10.5 rounds at plus 200. Let's quickly, in these last 5.5 minutes, make the case on why I believe personally that this fight might actually end in the first 10.5 rounds. And of course, let me just point out too, if you're right on your main bet, and if your guy is good enough to get the knockout in the first 10.5 rounds, then of course you're doing better than you would have done had you just put all the money on the main bet, right? If I bet on Sergio Martinez and he wins by knockout in the first 10.5 rounds, then I win on both sides of the bet. I'm a very happy camper. I'm winning, let's say at 1-to-1 odds, 65, plus I'm winning the 70 off the straddle. I would be cleaning up with a nice profit of 135. Okay, now let's talk about why this fight might not go 10.5 rounds. First, Martinez's weight. That weight might actually deprive him of the stamina to make things happen in the later rounds. That weight might actually hurt him, right? He might drain down, but drained fighters are more prone to getting knocked out. That increases Williams' chance of getting a knockout. Not only that, of course, Williams, in the only other time where he lost a match, and I know he was given the decision in the first match between these two. I personally had Martinez winning that fight. But Williams in rematches has been devastating. He was devastating in the Quintana fight. Keep in mind, too, that Martinez's weight problems also increases the chance that he gets a knockout because, of course, he might alter his game plan to try to put it more on the line early, thinking that he's against a younger man who has been at weight for a month. And he might think, you know what, I'm going to put it on the line. And to me, his weight problems make him more likely to go for a knockout in his own strategy. Let's go further. Martinez is a counterpuncher. Look at the end of that first fight. You're going to see Martinez was hitting Williams flush at the end of the first fight. As people who have read my book know, I believe counterpunchers do better in rematches, right? I believe that Martinez has cracked Williams' code. I consider Williams to be a pattern fighter. He fights the same fight every fight. And so I believe that Martinez is going to land flusher punches this fight. I believe this fight is going to be an accelerated version of their last fight. Let me also point out, too, just the smack talk. I know guys are full of themselves before a fight, but in the smack talk, Martinez is talking about stopping Williams. I believe he's actually going to try to stop Paul Williams because he wants to get to the next level in terms of public recognition. Not only that, Martinez, of course, was walking around in the 170s. He might believe that he is the bigger man in the fight naturally. Even though he's the shorter man, he might be the bigger man. And also, don't sleep on the power of both of these guys. As I said earlier, Williams, of course, blew out Carlos Quintana in one round, right? Faster than Andre Berto did, faster than Miguel Cotto did, right? Williams has pop. And, of course, Martinez is much better than advertised. He actually knocked out Kermit Cintron. I don't know what else to say about that fight. I know those of you on BoxRec looking at his record see that that fight was a draw. Let's just say that the referee did one of the worst refereeing jobs in history in that fight. Just know that Martinez, in addition to, of course, stopping Saul Roman, actually, knocked out Kermit Cintron. That fight was a KO, and he has that kind of power. Keep in mind, Cintron fought Alfredo Angulo and never got stopped in that fight. Cintron actually has a pretty good chin. And I know Margarito knocked him out. I believe Margarito's the only guy to knock Cintron out officially, but yet Sergio Martinez did. I think Martinez, as slick as he is actually a very heavy hitter. And also, finally, let me just add, in their first fight, keep in mind, both guys went down in that first round, right? You're talking about a rematch of a fight where both guys went down. So the bet I'm recommending here is take the fighter. I'm not making a recommendation on who wins the fight because of Martinez's weight. That's the only reason I'm not taking Martinez. Take the fighter you believe in. But to beat the casino, I think what you should do is put, let's say, 35% of your bet on the plus 200 under 10.5 straddle. Hopefully everything works out. Keep in mind, I'm not predicting the straddle. I'm saying it's an excellent value play and should be part of the structure of your bet. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Take care.